broken, shattered, never to become real. Now, as I reflect on the God that I know, the God that loves me, the God that I love, I am reminded that if God is the master designer of this universe, then we ought to view the New Testament as a book of broken dreams. It began with the killing of every male Jewish child under the age of 2. A master designer? Would that be part of his dream? Certainly not. It ended with the apparent death, the crucifixion of the one that God had sent into this world to model for us what it was to live as a full, a complete, a fulfilled human being. A human being in relationship with others and a human being in relationship with God. It ended on the cross where that one, in the midst of his agony, hung his head and finally said, "Into your hands I commend my spirit. It is finished."
All right.
You look at the New Testament, and when you look at the Good Friday experience, you have to begin asking yourself over and over again, is living the life of Jesus really worth it? Is living the lifestyle of Jesus Christ in the world that you and I are a part of really worth it? Is turning the other cheek really worth it? Is loving your enemies really worth it? Is blessing those who persecute you really worth it? Is giving the person the cloak off your back when they want your jacket really worth it? Is looking at the leper as one who should be elevated as a child of God really worth it? Good Friday announces that the dreams and the visions of God are apparently shattered, done away with, left in a dung heap of human experience where death and evil have triumphed. And it is precisely in the midst of that environment that we find these disciples on the road to Emmaus. Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem that doesn't know what has happened? How Jesus, a prophet mighty in word and deed, was handed over by our chief priest to the Roman authorities to be condemned and crucified. And those words are shattered dreams. Oh, how we had hoped that he would be the one to redeem Israel. They walked on that road that day. They walked on that road possessing shattered dreams, broken dreams. So steeped in the midst of their broken dreams were they that they couldn't even recognize the one who walked with them. The one who opened the Scriptures, the one who declared to them the truth of the Scriptures from Moses and the prophets all the way on down. So lashed, so chained, so shackled in the midst of shattered dreams, they didn't even notice that God had changed all that forever. I can identify at times with those men on the road to Emmaus. Perhaps you can too. Walking, talking with each other in the midst of defeat. In the midst of knowing that what I have dreamed for myself or what I have dreamed for others or what I have dreamed for the world doesn't seem to stand a chance of succeeding. I can identify with those men because so many times it seems like the light doesn't shine in the darkness, and the darkness has totally and completely overcome it. I know their shattered dreams, and you know them too. You know the pain, you know the suffering, you know the disdain, you know the persecution that comes when you try to live fully the lifestyle of Jesus Christ in a world that wants to shun you, in a world that wants to demean you, in a world that wants to turn its back on that kind of living, because we have decided in this world that there's a better way to live. We live in a Good Friday world that is constantly reminding us that we should be more a people of shattered dreams than a people of resurrected power. Are there any clearer words of a broken dream than these? Oh, how we had hopes. All of us have dreams for ourselves. And many of those dreams just don't make it. One person has observed that every person dreams of one life and is forced to live another. Wasn't that Jesus? He dreamed of a life where he could proclaim good news to the captives, recovery of sight to the blind. He dreamed of a life where he could lift up the poor, where he could cure the lame, where he could bring sight to the blind, where he could raise the dead, and where in response to this incredible giving, the world would embrace him. And through him, the world would embrace a new relationship with the God who sent him. Jesus dreamed of one life, but he had to live another. It was true all the way throughout Scripture. God dreamed of Adam and Eve having one life in the garden, but got something else. God dreamed of Cain and Abel living in brotherly harmony with each other, but God got something else. Throughout the entire Scriptures, we have this picture of God dreaming one life for us, but then being confronted with something radically different. God dreamed that his Son would come into this world as the way, the truth, and the life, and we would embrace that Son and follow that Son. But oh, how the dream was shattered as nails pierced his hands and his feet. And in the heat of an arid sun, he died.